Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and I'm joined today with Carmen and Jan, and I'm Patty, and Mary is going to join us from Center, North Dakota. We're very excited today.
These are so fun.
These are fun. Yeah, the My Hometown series. This is our very second My Hometown, and Mary is in Center, North Dakota, which is actually her hometown.
That's cool.
So it's going to be a fun show today. But I want to begin by thanking the sponsors of the Center Show. Legendary Meats, Security First Bank and North Dakota Center, Nodak Mutual Insurance, Darren Johnson, Minn Kota Power, Tammy Lapp Harris, Oliver County Fair Board, 4-H, Root Oil, Center Community Club, K&M Repair, Center Machine Shop, B&I Coal, Center Stanton Booster Club, T&M Tree Service, Dave's Sales and Service, Anderson Motors, Crossroads Restaurant, West River Telecommunications, and finally, St. Martin's Catholic Church, last but not least.
Wow, great community support.
That's a lot of businesses.
That's a lot of businesses saying, we love our community and we want to support it. I love that.
And Center is a small community. There's 500 some residents, but businesses, and we're going to learn more when Mary's going to be interviewing a number of different people. But Center is, you know, she just was so excited to say, let's do Center as my hometown, because there's a lot of interesting history there.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And for such a small community, it has a lot to offer.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And coal, I think, has played such a big part in Center, in that whole area, as far as development.
Right. Well, let's go to Mary and see who she's visiting with first.
Thanks, ladies. I am in Center, North Dakota, which just so happens to be my own personal hometown with the Hometown series right here on Beck. We first want to thank West River Telecommunications for allowing us to come in with our fiber to go ahead and get started and rolling right here in Center. We really appreciate that. Big shout out to Troy Schilling and Matt Earhart. Appreciate it. Also, a big thank you to the Crossroads for letting us have it right here in their restaurant. It's the Crossroads Bar and Grill, and if you need a steak, this is the place to go. But I also, one more personal shout out to Carla Wolf, because she helped arrange a lot of these guests and gave me some tips and some insights into the Center area. So with that, I want to introduce Rick Schmidt. He is the Oliver County Extension Agent out of NDSU, and you are situated right here in Center, North Dakota. And he's going to tell us a little bit about Center, how it got its name, and what's going on right now. So why don't we just start, Rick? Thanks for coming. Tell us a little bit about Center.
Oh, Center's a town of about 550 people. It's a unique town. Mainly we get a lot of attention because of the way that Center got its name. And so if we go back to the history of Oliver County started back in 1885. Prior to that, we were part of Mercer County. And so then in 1889, we became a state. And so then there was this discussion from the federal government that they would not allow to have the county seat in Northern Dakota Territory and Southern Dakota Territory to have the same name. So at the time, when we were back in 1885, the town of Raymond was the county seat. And so there was some discussion about moving the county seat to a more central location, and there was some happenings that brought that along. And then in 1902, there was a vote at Raymond to have a new name for this village at the time of where the county seat was going to be moved. And it was believed at the time that it was to move to the center of this new county that was developed, and so they voted on this new name, and the winning name was Center by all regards. So that's kind of how Center got its name. I don't know what the other three votes were or for, but that's how Center got its name, believed to be the center of the county.
Perfect. And at that time, about how many people lived in the county?
There was about 327 people back in 1889, 1885, and the majority of those people actually lived along the Missouri River. We had Fort Clark, Hensler, Sanger, Price, and a few others along that area. And so another unique fact about Center, North Dakota is that it is one of 5 towns that actually was named in North Dakota that was never built along a river or a railroad. And we've never had a railroad or river go through Center. And so our Our look is much different than many of the other towns in North Dakota. We are basically a mining town, and starting back in the late 1960s, and grew into be the most, I'm going to say, if you look back at North Dakota history, it's the highest paid salaries of any county in the state for many, many years, until the oil boom started to happen out in the western part of North Dakota. But you know, I actually should say it's a community driven by the ag community and by the mining industry.
Perfect. You know, when you talk about there's no railroad and there's not a river here, so other than it being the middle of Oliver County, what was the draw? Did they use the Square Butte Creek for travel, or?
You know, I don't know the history behind that part of it, but realistically, our population really exploded when a small town up in the northern part of North Dakota, Noonan, moved their coal mine here. And so our population grew dramatically in the late 60s. And that when B&I Coal and Minn Kota Power was brought into play, and the majority of people worked there. And so when we look back at the history of when we reached our peak, in the 70s or early 80s, we ended up with about 420 some students in school, and in the school system here at Center. And so the other thing that happened is that around the late 1960s is when all those small one-room schoolhouses basically closed up, and we consolidated, and all of those small little schools then came to Center for their education as well.
Awesome. Well, I understand that there's also some controversy or some new information about Center, North Dakota, perhaps being part of a bigger story. Why don't you tell us about that?
The geographical center of North America is an interesting story that we've gained some notoriety about. But back in 1931, somebody had balanced the cardboard cutout of North America on a pin, and where that pin balanced was in a little pond near Orrin or Balta, North Dakota, and so which is about 16 miles from Rugby, and Rugby was the closest place that had a 2-lane highway, and they claimed the patent and or the trademark, and they deemed that as the geographical center of North America. And then about 2013, 14, somewhere in there, a man in Robinson realized that Rugby forgot to pay the patent or for their trademark, and he purchased a trademark. And ironically, for what had happened is that I didn't really know much of the story, but we were on our way to Denver, and I get a call from somebody from New York, and he was trying to resolve the discussion of where the true geographical center of North America was at between Rugby and Robinson, and he's got algorithms that he's developed over time, and he said if he knows the outer coordinates of any landmass, he can find the geographical center. And so he called and said neither one of those is accurate. It's actually 4 miles north of Center, North Dakota. So the scientific center of North America is actually about 4.4 miles north of Center, North Dakota.
That is amazing. Growing up in a town called Center, and it's now the center of North America. So thanks so much for joining us, Rick. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate getting a little snapshot of the history.
Yes, thank you.
Back to you, ladies.
Oh, awesome, we're learning.
Did you know Center was the center?
I did not.
There are some communities that will argue that, but it appears that they've got the name. Come on, let them have it.
Yeah, there you go. It was destined to be, right?
Right, I vote for them. So Mary will be back with more guests when we come right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: the Oliver County Fair Board and Oliver County 4-H, Rude Oil, Center Community Club.
Since Nodak Insurance Company started, we've gone from paying by mail to paying online. Your proof of insurance is found in an app. And as farming technologies advance, our coverage protects. The way we live and work has changed, but our service and commitment remains. We're evolving to meet your insurance needs. with answers where and when you need them most. No Deck Insurance Company.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: K&M Repair, Center Machine Shop, B&I Coal.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Bring home top quality steak or sausage for dinner tonight from Legendary Meats of Center. Legendary Meats is proud to provide lean, delicious meats for everyone in the Center area. We're known for being one of the cleanest and friendliest butchers in the area, so choosing us is a no-brainer. You can come to us to pick up beef or pork you want to cook for dinner this week. Call us today at 701-794-8890 or stop in at 600 Industrial Drive West in Center. Legendary Meats, so good, it's legendary.
The world thinks the North is forever frozen, but these summers get brutal. Our electricity has to be strong and unyielding, like us, even when the hot sun sets. That's why we combine the diverse strengths of our region's mighty resources with our steadfast supply of lignite coal to ensure reliable power on the most blistering days. We get scorchers up north, but we stay chill. We're all in on all of the above energy.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: the Oliver County Fair Board and Oliver County 4-H, Rude Oil, Center Community Club.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back and to the My Hometown segment of Center, North Dakota. That's where Mary is today. She'll be right back with us. But first, I want to thank all the sponsors of the show, My Hometown and Center: Legendary Meats, Security First Bank of North Dakota, Center, North Dakota Mutual Insurance, Darren Johnson, Minn Kota Power, Tammy Lapp Harris, Oliver County Fair Board 4-H, Rude Oil, Center Community Club, K&M Repair, Center Machine Shop, B&I Coal, Center Stanton Booster Club, T&M Tree Service, Dave's Sales and Service, Anderson Motors, Crossroads Restaurant, West River Telecommunications, and St. Martin's Catholic Church. That is a lot of support for a small town.
Love it.
You bet. You bet.
So anyways, Mary did grow up in Center, North Dakota, and just in the last segment they were talking about it being the center. But this is, if you want to get into an argument with somebody, start from rugby, say that Center is the geographic center of North Dakota,
Yeah.
because that's a special status to have.
But they delineated that between geographical and scientific.
Yeah.
So Center is the scientific.
Right, okay. So, okay, we're going to toss it back to Mary over in Center.
Thanks, ladies. We're back in Center, North Dakota. That's my hometown, and we sure hope everybody's enjoying this. I sure have. I wanted to point out that there is a book called the Oliver County History Book, 1885 to 1985. You can get that online, so you can look for more information about Center and Oliver County. Right now, I am joined by Dave Berger, and he is going to, you've been a resident here for quite a while.
All my life.
All your life. Just so happens to be my third cousin. Anyway, he's going to talk a little bit about energy, because energy in Oliver County is where it's at.
So in 1966, Minn Kota and B&I came to Center, to Oliver County, and started the coal mine and the plant out just southeast of Center. I believe it was 1970, Unit 1 started up, and then in 1977, Unit 2 started up. And they hired a lot of the locals. So that made it a very big boost for our community. And because of that, that's kind of what kept our city going, and the county. by hiring the locals, and then the state started what they called a coal impact. And because of that, they built a new school, a new courthouse, a new civic center, and we have an indoor pool. So that was a plus for our community. And they're still going strong. And one thing people take for granted is the electricity at the light switch. And it's always there. But as we've seen in this past winter, when you have something go wrong, and without coal and the power plants, it isn't there. And so we need to keep these power plants going and not take them for granted.
Absolutely. Now I know the coal, when my parents were living in the area, you could find coal on the side of just about every hill. Is that what made Center the coal, I mean, it was basically falling out of the hillsides, wasn't it?
Yep. So coal, like Oliver County, is basically lignite everywhere. I wouldn't say we have the best lignite around compared to Wyoming or Montana, but we have very good coal. And that's why you see all the power plants, 2 up in Underwood, 3 units over in Beulah, 2 units or 4 units actually over by Stanton, and then 2 units here.
Okay, so I understand that there's a new project coming to Center, like within the next year or 2, or maybe it's already going, some carbon capture. You want to tell our viewers about carbon capture right here in Oliver County?
Okay, so Minn Kota got involved with UND and the EERC, and they are working on Project Tundra for carbon capture to catch CO2. So in the last 3 years, they've drilled 3 different holes south of Center. And down, the first hole was 5,800 feet, I believe, and the other 2 were between 9,000 and 10,000 feet. And they're gonna inject the CO2 down there, and it'll be stored indefinitely, and they say it'll dissipate. So this has been going on up in Canada, and they've been doing it in Texas. So it's not a new thing, but it's just convincing the landowners and the people that it's safe. And if carbon capture goes, I believe most of the power plants will be going to it, and the ethanol plants, anybody that burns coal, because they're gonna need it to stay alive with the way things are. And I guess we're just hoping it goes. It's the future to keep all these plants going.
Absolutely. I know electricity is on the rise in the sense where they're looking for electricity, but where are they going to find it? I don't know that solar panels are the answer per se, but that's an excellent way to keep these power plants and these small communities moving. That's great. And then there's also some wind energy might be coming this way?
Well, they're working on a wind farm over west of Center, 6 miles, and then north, all the way up toward Hazen. It's a big wind farm. I'd say the county is divided on if we want it or not, because a lot of the people that still live in the community with the coal mine and the power plant, that if wind keeps coming in, is the power plant going to survive? So there's that division on whether it's good for the community or not.
Right, and everyone can have their opinion, and hopefully, both sides will be heard. So when we think about Minn Kota Power, I think about Nelson Lake. Tell me a little bit about Nelson Lake.
Okay, so Nelson Lake was a man-made dam. It's for all the cooling at the power plant and water for, in the boiler. They have a line that comes all the way from up by Fort Clark off the river that pumps water in, so like we don't get a lot of rain or moisture, that fills the dam to keep it full for that reason. So as far as recreation, when I worked there, you could look across the dam and you'd see anywhere from 40 to 50 campers over there. And it's still on the east side and the west side. It's still just a popular attraction. And I believe the state record bass is still out of Nelson Lake.
That's fantastic. I know a lot of people used to fish, even when I was in the area, fish and then water ski. There used to be water ski events in January, right here in North Dakota, right here in Oliver County. And it could be 20 below and the water is still open because of the power plant.
Yeah, and then there's a group that works with disabled veterans. They come in once a year and they've got skis and sleds or whatever to take them so they can actually ski. And so it's kind of a nice deal that they do that for people.
See, and that's just it. When you think about energy, you think, big power plants and everything. There's a lot of things that come to a community because of big energy. Right. And there's a lot of great things going on right here in Center. Is there anything else you want to share on the energy side?
No, just, I guess, support the power plants. That's our big thing in the coal mines. because without them, electricity isn't going to be there. You can't rely on wind. Yesterday there was no wind. They're not going to move.
They're not going to move. Okay, well, this is Dave Berger coming at you from Center, North Dakota. Back to you, ladies.
Have you been to Nelson Lake?
I have not.
I have not either.
It's a great lake. It's a nice small lake. Take your family, and it's kind of warm because of the power plant.
I had heard, well, like they said, I had heard that years ago that people would go there in the middle of the winter and they'd swim, and it's like, are you crazy?
It's nice.
It's nice and heated just because of coal.
Right, and it's a great recreational area. In Minn Kota, I actually did a field trip there before with a group, and there are people that would come from all over the world to see it. It is an amazing field trip to take a look at the inside of a power plant. So,
I bet it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
2 things to put on your list. And I haven't gone fishing there, but it sounds like, if a top, world record bass was caught there?
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Got good stock.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like it.
So we'll be returning to Mary again, but first these messages with Ladies of Another View on Back.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors. K&M Repair, Center Machine Shop, B&I Coal,
Ready to move out? Let Tammy Lap Harris help you find your own place.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors. The Center Stanton Booster Club, T&M Tree Service, Dave's Sales and Service.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
But how will we?
The car! Your offer has been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors. St. Martin's Catholic Church, Security First Bank of North Dakota in Center.
Since NODAC Insurance Company started, we've gone from paying by mail to paying online. Your proof of insurance is found in an app. And as farming technologies advance, our coverage protects. The way we live and work has changed, but our service and commitment remains. We're evolving to meet your insurance needs with answers where and when you need them most. NODAC Insurance Company.
Bring home top quality steak or sausage for dinner tonight from Legendary Meats of Center. Legendary Meats is proud to provide lean, delicious meats for everyone in the Center area. We're known for being one of the cleanest and friendliest butchers in the area, so choosing us is a no-brainer. You can come to us to pick up beef or pork you want to cook for dinner this week. Call us today at 701-794-8890 or stop in at 600 Industrial Drive West in Center. Legendary Meats, so good, it's legendary. My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors. K&M Repair, Center Machine Shop, B&I Coal,
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back, and today's My Hometown segment is coming from Center, North Dakota, where Mary is. But first I want to thank all our sponsors: Legendary Meats, Security First Bank of North Dakota Center, NODAC Mutual Insurance, Darren Johnson, Minn Kota Power, Tammy Lap Harris, Oliver County Fair Board 4-H, Root Oil, Center Community Club, K&M Repair, Center Machine Shop, BNI Coal, Center Stanton Booster Club, TAM Tree Service, Dave's Sales and Service, Anderson Motors, Crossroads Restaurant, West River Telecommunications, and St. Martin's Catholic Church.
Wow, great
It's a
support.
mouthful every time.
Great support. Great
but wonderful,
support.
yes.
And this has been really fun because we're learning about everything up in Center, and Mary's brought some really good guests, and we got to learn about Nelson Lake. There's lots of activities coming up there this summer, but like at the campgrounds, the Oliver County State Park, and that's open all week long, the Old Settlers Days, and there's more that we'll visit about after we hear more from Mary.
Thanks, ladies. We are here with Dave Berger. He decided to stick around and visit a little bit more about Hazel Minor. We were going to talk to Judy McNulty, but she's in Seattle with her sister, I guess. Anyway, Hazel Minor has a monument right here in North Dakota, Oliver County, and it's over by the log cabin, not too far from here. Why don't you tell me a little bit about her story?
Okay, so Hazel was 15 years old. It was March 16th of 1920, and they took the horse to school, and they were 2 miles from the school, which was 6 miles east of Center and 2 miles north. So they took the horse because of the cold weather, and the day before it was very warm. So the snow, a lot of it melted, so there was water in the coulees, and they got that blizzard, so the dad came down to get Meredith or Hazel, her sister Meredith, and her brother Emmett. And meanwhile, he had the horse hooked up, and the horse took off. And it wasn't the normal horse that they brought to school. And so this horse took off, and because of the blizzard, got lost, and they went east, south and east of the school. Well, as Hazel was trying to figure out what to do, they got off and led the horse at times. Well, then they got into the coulee, and there was apparently a substantial amount of water. And so when Hazel got off the wagon, her feet got soaked. Well, then she got the horse out of the coulee, but then it rolled over. So they couldn't get it back up. A search party was started, but they couldn't find him because of the blizzard. And so they didn't resume the search till the next day when they found him. And the mom didn't have a good feeling about what they were going to find. But when they did find him, Emmett and Meredith were still covered up by the robe, and Meredith was on top of him. She was froze solid. So without her bravery, Hazel, yes. Without her bravery, they wouldn't be alive. And I guess it just shows even a 15-year-old can be a heroine.
Absolutely. You know, when you think about that, she didn't make it, but her little brother and little sister did. And that kind of shows about North Dakota and how strong a person can be when it comes to something like that. Now, I know, why don't you tell us about what Governor Burgum has done for Center? Okay, so last year, because of the COVID, our program was changed. We wanted to have a program in memory of 100 years of Hazel's, bravery. So we sent the letter to Governor Burgum, and he proclaimed March 16th of every year as Hazel Minor Day. So we're pretty proud of that. And then, like you said, we have a monument that a governor had done back then. I believe it was in the 60s, and had it put up in Hazel's memory. And we have a graveyard, or the cemetery west of town, that has her grave in it. And you also met some of the relatives here this past March, wasn't it? March or April?
Yes, we met them 2 years ago, some of them, and this last March at our program at the school, we got to meet more. And there is a great niece that is named Hazel after her. So that's kind of a neat deal and tribute to her. So as far as that, we think we have life rough, but we don't. You think they had a horse and a buggy or a sled, and they went out in the cold. Now we jump in a cold vehicle and got to wait for it to warm up, and we think it's a tough life.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Sometimes we miss our heat seat or our car seat warmers. You talked about her monument. It makes kind of a small tourist attraction, although it's tragic. It's a tourist attraction, but there's a lot of other tourism right here in Oliver County. Why don't you tell us a little bit about other things that you can see right here in Oliver County?
Okay, so along with that, we've got the log cabin, which is right close to the monument, that was built many, many years ago, and it's still erect, and we're preserving it because it's so old. Next, as Rick talked about earlier, was the Center of North America, which was kind of unique that it fell in our lap like it did. We think it's neat that rugby has the geographical, but we are the scientifical. The book up there that we have of visitors, I believe there's 19 pages full And then we have a flyer that every time I go up there, it's empty. So a lot of people are visiting it. And we've had 7 countries that have came. I think part of them are people that work here on work visas, you know, for the ranchers and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of a unique deal. Not far north, up by Stanton, is the Indian Village. Another site that's visited a lot.
And that's the Knife River Indian Village, yes.
And then over at Washburn, you have the Lewis and Clark Center, which is not that far away. And then you come back into Oliver County, and we've got the Cross Ranch. I guess I'm not sure what year that was started, but that is visited so much. They have yurts down there, they have cabins that they rent out, plus camper spots. And it's visited a lot. And that's kind of a neat place just to go visit. And they also have trails for walking. You know, so a lot of people come out just to do that. And then along with that, I believe it's the week after Old Settlers, so the 3rd weekend in June is the Bluegrass Festival at the Cross Ranch. And they have a lot of bluegrass bands come in, plus 2 local groups. Cottonwood is one of them. And I've been there several times. It's pretty neat to see all the people that come just to relax and sit out in the sun under the trees and enjoy it.
Right, and so we also have a big event right here in Center called Old Settlers Day.
Yes, so Old Settlers is June 11th, 12th, 13th. Friday night, the 11th, Milo Hutzabiller will be here. We'll be having a food festival that will be set up downtown. We'll have a kiddie parade, and then the tractor trek and the wagon train will come into town. Then on Saturday morning, we start our softball tournament, and then Saturday afternoon, the golf scramble. And then along with that, we have inflatable balloons. We have entertainment downtown, lots of food. A lot of people come to town to enjoy all that along with the parade. And then Sunday, softball, golf, and the church service. So we have a very good attendance for that, and we welcome anyone to come and join us.
And isn't there a ranch rodeo along with that?
There is also a ranch rodeo at 2 o'clock on Saturday, and that's a big draw.
Perfect.
That draws in a lot of people.
All right, and we're going to have the booster serving food at the ranch rodeo, and the Crossroads is going to be set up at the courthouse for the beer garden. Back to you, ladies.
Those events are going to be so fun. I know my good friend Jill, she's so talented. She's with Cottonwood up there. I'm really glad they get to have that Bluegrass Festival this year after missing it last year.
No
30th
kidding.
year.
Yeah, it's worth going to. I've been to it before. And you bring your camper, tent, whatever, stay in one of the yurts.
Yeah. I was just wondering if anybody out there knows if there's any events going on at Knife River Indian Village, maybe you could post something on our Facebook page.
Right. We can share that too, and we can look that up. But we'll be right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Back.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors. The Center Stanton Booster Club, T&M Tree Service, Dave's Sales and Service.
The world thinks the North is forever frozen, but these summers get brutal. Our electricity has to be strong and unyielding, like us, even when the hot sun sets. That's why we combine the diverse strengths of our region's mighty resources with our steadfast supply of lignite coal to ensure reliable power on the most blistering days. We get scorchers up north, but we stay chill. We're all in on all of the above energy.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors. Anderson Motors, Crossroads Restaurant, West River.
Since NODAC Insurance Company started, we've gone from paying by mail to paying online. Your proof of insurance is found in an app. And as farming technologies advance, our coverage protects. The way we live and work has changed, but our service and commitment remains. We're evolving to meet your insurance needs with answers where and when you need them most. NODAC Insurance Company.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's best contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Ready to move out? Let Tammy Lap Harris help you find your own place.
Bring home top quality steak or sausage for dinner tonight from Legendary Meats of Center. Legendary Meats is proud to provide lean, delicious meats for everyone in the Center area. We're known for being one of the cleanest and friendliest butchers in the area, so choosing us is a no-brainer. You can come to us to pick up beef or pork you want to cook for dinner this week. Call us today at 701-794-8890 or stop in at 600 Industrial Drive West in Center. Legendary Meats, so good, it's legendary. My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: the Center Stanton Booster Club, T&M Tree Service, Dave's Sales and Service.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back, and the My Hometown segment is from Center, North Dakota today. We are learning so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a small place that's packed full of activities and businesses. Speaking of businesses, I want to mention all of the sponsors of the show: Legendary Meats, Security First Bank of North Dakota Center, Nodak Mutual Insurance, Darren Johnson, Minn Kota Power, Tammy Lap Harris, Oliver County Fair Board 4-H, Root Oil, Center Community Club, K&M Repair, Center Machine Shop, BNI Coal, Center Stanton Booster Club, T&M Tree Service, Dave's Sales and Service, Anderson Motors, Crossroads Restaurant, West River Telecommunications, and St. Martin's Catholic Church. It's a good problem to have to read all these businesses.
You bet. That's a very involved community, sounds like to me.
Just a lot of participation, definitely. Yeah, which is amazing. I mean, we live so close, and I knew there was a lot going on at the center, but I didn't realize that much.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Well, I can't wait to hear what Mary has to show us next and who we get to see.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're going to toss it back off to Mary.
Thanks, ladies. We are back in Center, North Dakota, My Hometown series, and it just so happens to be my hometown, and I am sitting with Dale McKnight. Now, I've known Dale pretty much all my life, but I didn't know he was a hero. I had no idea that there are heroes amongst us, and I think we can say that in general, just across America. And so, Dale, I understand that you were involved in a conflict in Vietnam. Now, to start the story, he was only 10 years old when Vietnam broke out, basically.
Right. 65.
In 1965. So tell us your story, please.
Well, in 65 I was 10 years old, and then I joined the Marine Corps. I was 18, and then I went overseas on a float. We call it a float, continuous float, because we didn't know we were going to be doing an evacuation course. We were just doing our mission, practicing and everything. Well, then at 19, we were involved, 21 Marines were involved with the evacuation of the embassy in Saigon. And the CIA people, all the embassy people that work for the government. And I believe we took out about 6,000 people altogether. I was 19 at the time, so from 10 years old to the end of the war, I never thought I'd ever be there. Most people wouldn't. I was 19 when we did the evacuation. 6,000 people we took out of there in 19 hours.
And so why were they evacuating these people? You
Well,
were in Saigon, correct?
Saigon. The North Vietnamese were overrunning the city then, and they were taking over the Saigon. That was toward the end of the war. They overrun the embassy, and they were taking over the whole South Vietnamese. It was all going to be the North Vietnamese, which happened. So that's why we were there to evacuate the people, because their lives were in danger, you know. So.
And I understand it took about 19 hours to evacuate?
19 continuous hours. I think we had 640 sorties. A sortie is a helicopter mission. In and out. It was 640 trips, roughly. And at the end, the mission got called off because it was getting too dangerous. But Colonel Holden, I've just found his name out on the Quilts of Valor here about 2 weeks ago. I knew he was from Kansas City. He volunteered to come back and get us because he knew we were there. The government, not the Marine Corps, but the government wrote the mission off. It was getting too dangerous. The South Vietnamese were actually firing at the helicopters because they knew they were getting abandoned, and they were scared for their lives, of course. So he landed on the roof and picked us up and got us back to their ships, but we had 120 ships in the fleet, so it took like 3 or 4 days to get us all back to our regular ships. And then our job was to deal with all the refugees. I mean, there was thousands of them. They were on merchant ships and whatever. So our job was to deal with the mercenaries, or the refugees on the mercenary ships. So.
Okay, I understand that getting back to your evacuation, they basically, they said the Tiger is out, we are done. That's what was announced on the ship?
The Tiger is out was Graham Martin, the ambassador, and they used that as so nobody knew that he was gone. But that was way before the rest of us left. That was like 4:30 in the afternoon. And we didn't get out of there till the next early morning, like the sun was starting to come up. Well, by then the Vietnamese people, South Vietnamese people, knew they were being abandoned, and they overrun the embassy walls. That was our guard. That was our job, was to guard the embassy. And most of the evacuation from the Marine Corps was done in the compound. It wasn't that helicopter you see on with the ladder going up. That was a CIA helicopter. They were evacuating civilians. The Marine Corps did everything in the compound and on the embassy itself. The roof.
All right, and then I understand someone recognized that, hey, there's 11 men still left.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was Colonel Holden, the pilot that had been doing the missions. You know, they'd fill the helicopter up. We'd get about 50 or 60 people in there, and then they would come back. Another one would land, another one would be landing and picking them up. But at the end there, we had to get in the embassy because they were overrunning it then. It was at the end of the mission. So we had to we got the CIA people into the embassy and all the people that worked for the embassy, and then we barricaded each floor as we went up. It's a 15-story building, and we had to use tear gas to keep the people from breaking through. So every floor we went up, we barricaded as we went up. When we got to the top, there was 11 of us up there, you know, and then the pilot knew we were there because he had just hauled a bunch of people out. He knew we were left there, and he come back and got us. Colonel Holden from Kansas City, Missouri. So.
All right, and I understand there was a storm coming and you were low on fuel.
Yeah, low on fuel, and then there was hail, and it blew the windshield wipers off the helicopter, and we just barely got landed, but he made it and he saved us. So.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. I want to just thank you for serving our country.
Yeah, I want to thank all the veterans out there.
Absolutely.
For their service. I was one of the luckier ones. I mean, there's a lot of veterans that deserve a lot more than I did, and feel for them. So hopefully they get recognition too. You know, it took many years for them to recognize the Vietnam veterans. Now it's better than it was, so
Indeed.
It's good.
Indeed. So tell us a little bit about these flag cases.
Well, we own a custom cabinet shop, and we just wanted to give back a little bit to the veterans, so anybody that needs a case for their fallen loved one can contact us, and we don't charge for them, we just donate them. It's kind of a way to give back a little bit. So.
And so what made you, or how long have you been making these, and how many have you made?
Well, over 30 years we've been making them, but it's just something that we do, just a gesture to pay back, give back to the veterans a little bit. So.
And you are donating them.
We're donating.
You're donating them. And then
all they have to do is contact us, and we'll make the case for them and donate it, and they can come to their shop and pick it up, and there's no charge. So.
And I know you're a cabinet maker by trade, but what made you start doing this? At what point did you think, hey, I'm going to start making flag cases?
Just for family members. Started. Our family is all big military. There was 5 boys, and only one didn't go in the service. And I just started doing it for family to start with. And then I just thought it would be a nice gesture to give the veterans something, you know. So that's why we do it.
All right, Dale, I do want to thank you for joining us, but mainly I want to just thank you for your service, for you and all the veterans across the United States of America fighting for freedom. It's what it's all about, and we do appreciate you.
Yeah, nobody wins in war, I don't think, so.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Back to you, ladies.
Wow.
God bless him. I have one of those flag cases. We have one at our house for my father-in-law, who is buried in the Veterans Cemetery over in Mandan, and he was a Korean War veteran. So yeah, how cool to know to see Dale McKnight. What a beautiful story. Amazing. We'll be right back after these messages with Ladies of Another View. I'm back.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: Anderson Motors, Crossroads Restaurant, West River. Bring home top quality steak or sausage for dinner tonight from Legendary Meats of Center. Legendary Meats is proud to provide lean, delicious meats for everyone in the Center area. We're known for being one of the cleanest and friendliest butchers in the area, so choosing us is a no-brainer. You can come to us to pick up beef or pork you want to cook for dinner this week. Call us today at 701-794-8890 or stop in at 600 Industrial Drive West in Center. Legendary Meats, so good, it's legendary. My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: St. Martin's Catholic Church, Security First Bank of North Dakota in Center.
Since NODAC Insurance Company started, we've gone from paying by mail to paying online. Your proof of insurance is found in an app. And as farming technologies advance, our coverage protects. The way we live and work has changed, but our service and commitment remains. We're evolving to meet your insurance needs with answers where and when you need them most. NODAC Insurance Company.
The world thinks the North is forever frozen. But these summers get brutal. Our electricity has to be strong and unyielding, like us, even when the hot sun sets. That's why we combine the diverse strengths of our region's mighty resources with our steadfast supply of lignite coal to ensure reliable power on the most blistering days. We get scorchers up north, but we stay chill. We're all in on all of the above energy.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: Anderson Motors, Crossroads Restaurant, West River.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. On back, the My Hometown segment in Center today, where Mary is. And first, I want to thank all our businesses that have sponsored this segment: Legendary Meats, Security First Bank of North Dakota Center, NODAC Mutual Insurance, Darren Johnson, Minn Kota Power, Tammy Lapp Harris, Oliver County Fair Board 4-H, Rude Oil, Center Community Club, K&M Repair, Center Machine Shop, BNI Coal, Center Stanton Booster Club, T&M Tree Service, Dave's Sales and Service, Anderson Motors, Crossroads Restaurant, West River Telecommunications, and St. Martin's Catholic Church.
Don't forget all the events that are coming up in that area. The Nelson Lake campgrounds are always available. Oliver County State Park, Oliver County Old Settlers Days on June 11th through the 13th, Missouri River Bluegrass Festival on June 18th through the 19th, and the Oliver County Fair August 6th through the 8th.
Wow, there's just so much. And you know, the segment coming up, we're going to talk with some really very wonderful guys, or one guy in particular. And one thing we want to bring to your attention, this is only for Oliver County residents now, but the American Legion there, they have a flagpole and installation that they'll do for you if you just get a hold of them, and you'll see their information up on your screen right now. Harold Wilkins, Brian Hemmelstein, and Dwight Hankey, and their phone numbers are there. And what a great service. Anybody who wants a flagpole and a flag and they're willing to come in and do it, they'll only charge you what they paid pour the materials.
Nice.
Yeah, what a patriotic city they are.
Yeah.
So, okay, now back to Marion Center.
Thanks, ladies. We are back in Center, North Dakota, and I am visiting with Dwight Hankey. He is with the American Legion, the number 40, right?
90.
90. All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the American Legion and what is its mission and its purpose?
Well, the mission of the Legion is to take care of fellow Legionnaires when they come back or when they're in need of something, and do military honors at the funerals and stuff like that. That's basically our mission, to take care of our military family.
And so what year did the American Legion actually start?
I think it's 1891, something like that.
Oh, awesome. All right, so tell me a little bit about what the American Legion does in the center community.
Well, like I said, our primary concern is take care of the military family at funerals and stuff like that. We do the 21-gun salute, and we do the honors. We have a flag ceremony for them, and we go just to the church and to the cemetery, and we'll go down to the Veterans Cemetery in Mandan if we're asked. Usually they have their own people that do the honors, but we go down there for the family if they want it.
Perfect. And you guys also have a memorial over here at the courthouse. Why don't you tell us about that and how that got started?
Well, that was, I don't know what year it started, but it was put up to honor veterans from Oliver County, from all branches of the service, and no matter if they were drafted or whether they were enlisted or whether they're lifelong members or just short-termers, just honor the veterans.
All right, and so when I think of Center, North Dakota, I think of the log cabin. Tell us about the log cabin over there, the history of the log cabin and the Legionnaires.
Well, I really don't know the history of it, but I know that they used to, the Legion and the auxiliary used to fry Fleischkekle there for years and years, and they used to hold their meetings in there. That's where they held all their Legion meetings and stuff like that. But as far as any other history, I guess I don't know that much about
Well,
it.
I know when you think of the American Legion in Center, North Dakota and the Old Settlers' Day, they were pretty much the key people getting Fleischkekle started right here in North Dakota.
Everybody remembers standing in line for hours to get Fleischkekle, but they weren't store-bought at that time. They were handmade.
Absolutely.
The auxiliary worked
Absolutely. And so you guys have some projects going on now. Like in June, you have a flag retirement.
On June 6th, we get together, and usually down at the park, and all the old flags that were turned into us all year long, we have a flag ceremonial burn. We don't burn the flag per se. They're out of service or no longer can't display them anymore, so they bring them up there, and then we have a ceremony down there where we burn the flags.
And so what is the proper way to take care of a flag once it's tattered? What do you do with that flag?
Well, we usually fold them up in the triangle, and then we put them in a box, and then when we go to burn them, then we just take one out, we unfold it, we have a ceremony that tells what the white stripes stand for, what the red stripes stand for, what the blue stands for, and then we have a stick made up that people can hold over the fire and burn it, and then flip it off and watch it burn.
All right, so that's the proper way to do it.
Yep.
Fantastic.
You're not supposed to throw it in your trash barrel. It's supposed to be retired properly.
Exactly. And so tell us what you're doing with these. You guys have some custom flagpoles that you're working with?
Yeah,
It's a fundraiser?
we order flags, and if anybody wants one put up, we put them up for you, and we don't charge anything more than what it cost us. And we have a crew, which is a good crew, that come out and do the cement. We have a good time at it and put the flag and we have different forms. You know, we have a square ones, we have octagon ones, we have big ones, little ones, whatever you want.
And so what territory do you do when you're doing these flags? If someone wants to buy a flag from you, how do they do that?
Get a hold of Harold Wilkins. He's the one that usually goes down and gets the flag poles, and then we don't like to go out of Oliver County a lot because Washburn does it and Hazen does it, so we don't want to step on anybody's feet.
Respect.
So, yep.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell us about Memorial Day. That's kind of the big day for the Legionnaire. Tell us about Memorial Day this year.
Well, this year we're going to do the same as we did last year. We're going to have a people drive up into the Civic Center parking lot, and we're going to do everything in front of the Betty Hagel Memorial thing there. And we'll have our 21-gun salute. We'll have our honor guard there and stuff. And we have a speaker. And Pastor from Hanover has a deal where he goes on 98.1, so people can sit in their cars, and then we're going to have a coffee and lunch afterwards.
Great. And you also have a project going on with the Boy Scouts this year?
The Boy Scouts are going to help us the Saturday before Memorial Day, placing flags on every military gravesite in Oliver County. So if we missed any, please let somebody know, but we think we've got them all. But they're going to help us. The Boy Scout troop from Center is going to help us.
And how big is that troop?
I really don't know it. John's in charge of that, but he said there'd be like 10 kids would help us. So
great. All right, Dwight, I want to thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. You know, all the veterans, all of you guys that have come here today, we appreciate all of the service, because without the freedoms of what we have today, I mean, it's just, you know, I think we could go on forever about the direction of our country right now, and we just need to show more appreciation for our military, and I want to personally thank you, and Beck wants to thank you for that as well. So,
and got to thank these guys here, because they're the ones that help us with the flagpoles and the military honors and stuff like that. So,
all right, guys, if you want to just give the camera a big wave to the camera, we appreciate it. All right, and with that, I just want to thank you again, and I want to thank the Crossroads to go ahead and helping us hold this. And we have Duke Windhorse here. He's going to go ahead and sing us on the way out.
Better way of living that was laced with happiness and peace of mind. But the bright lights of the city only made this cowboy feel alone. And I find what I've been searching for was waiting.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: St. Martin's Catholic Church, Security First Bank of North Dakota in Center,
Ready to move out? Let Tammy Lap Harris help you find your own place.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: St. Martin's Catholic Church, Security First Bank of North Dakota in Center. Bring home top quality steak or sausage for dinner tonight from Legendary Meats of Center. Legendary Meats is proud to provide lean, delicious meats for everyone in the Center area. We're known for being one of the cleanest and friendliest butchers in the area, so choosing us is a no-brainer. You can come to us to pick up beef or pork you want to cook for dinner this week. Call us today at 701-794-8890 or stop in at 600 Industrial Drive West in Center. Legendary Meats, so good, it's legendary. My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: the Oliver County Fair Board and Oliver County 4-H, Root Oil, Center Community Club.
Since NODAC Insurance Company started, we've gone from paying by mail to paying online. Your proof of insurance is found in an app. And as farming technologies advance, our coverage protects. The way we live and work has changed, but our service and commitment remains. We're evolving to meet your insurance needs with answers where and when you need them most. NODAC Insurance Company.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: Anderson Motors, Crossroads Restaurant, West River.
The world thinks the North is forever frozen. But these summers get brutal. Our electricity has to be strong and unyielding, like us, even when the hot sun sets. That's why we combine the diverse strengths of our region's mighty resources with our steadfast supply of lignite coal. to ensure reliable power on the most blistering days. We get scorchers up north, but we stay chill. We're all in on all of the above energy.
My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: K&M Repair, Center Machine Shop, BNI Coal. My Hometown from Center, North Dakota is presented by these fine sponsors: the Center Stanton Booster Club, K&M Tree Service, Dave's Sales and Service,